185 days consecutive deployment, even right now, even this very minute, yeah, this very minute, I'm actually about to do one of those all-night missions. So, no question, but blessings from you and love from Germany. Well, thank you. I thank you for that blessing as well from Germany. I'll tell you that, here's a question. Can you be Israeli and not Jewish? Some people were asking. Questions about identity and faith. We have some questions coming in that people are writing on many different ways. It's not just here on the chat. There's many different ways people are asking questions. Can you be Israeli and not Jewish? Well, I'm going to start by answering that question from the audience. And I see there's also a question: how are we feeling? What is the morale of the IDF so far after 785 days? Very good question too. So let me start with the first question. I'll start with Mani, and then I'll get to the next one. How is the morale of the IDF so far? Well, let me tell you what is. I could speak for myself and for many others. I'll tell you, when they get the calls from their wives and kids, and they're not able to be home for the weekend, they're not able to be home. Now, I've been able to be home quite a bit. Blessings from Poland. Well, good to see you. Saloska. Yeah, let me just tell you that for me, when I hear other people's phone calls and they talk to their family and they're not able to be home and they're out in the rain. Right now it's raining and I'm going to be all night. I'll be up all night in missions myself. Switch these clothes out and I'm going to be unable to sleep all night. So how is that to miss a few nights sleep? I don't know if you've ever missed a few nights sleep in your week, every week. You don't feel so good. Maybe you sleep a tiny bit. Maybe you sleep out in a rain tent or with rain, or out in an abandoned building and it's very, very cold. Sometimes you may not have a sleeping bag to cover you. It's quite intense. It is quite intense. You have to really have determination of the Lord, determination of the God of Israel. Let me tell you that. But so the morale, I'll tell you what, is people are tired. I'll just be honest, is people feel very fatigued, tired. Businesses, of course, are closed for a lot of people. Their restaurants have been closed. Now, there's some who have opened. If you come to Israel, you'll come on my annual tour, maybe you'll come, every year we have a tour. Maybe you'll come on our special new VIP adventures. I don't know what you'll be able to attend. Maybe you'll just come as a volunteer in one of the two charities that I run. You probably know that I have two charities. One of those is, I can make it brighter if you guys like, if it's better if the light's a little brighter. Haha. Yeah, so maybe here's best like this. But, and good to see you from South Africa. I know David Neville Griffiths. I know that there are people that support from South Africa, and I know that there are those who also stand against Israel, but there are those who stand with Israel, and I know you're one of those who, the Griffiths family, stands strong for Israel, and I thank you for that. See, this is live, and good to see you, Juliet, as well. It's good to see you. Where are you from, Juliet? I don't know, but Juliet Maley is here as well as many others. So just to finish answering the question is that the morale is very strong because we believe in one another. We believe it's not like you're in a country where you have many, many people that can stand and defend Israel from the violent jihadism in Syria, in Lebanon, in Yemen, in Iran, in Gaza. You don't have many people. We all need to stand up and we need to be able to defend Israel together. Even if it means not sleeping all night, even if it means going into the rain, in the rain, and you're going to be out. I'm going to be out there. I don't have umbrellas in the army. You don't have umbrellas, okay? So, now Faith Wood Thomas, it's good to see you as well. Now, to answer you also, someone says, can you be Israeli and not Jewish? Absolutely. Many of my friends they could be Circassian. They could be Bedouin. I have friends who are Druze. You maybe know my friend Mansour. Shout out to Mansour. Maybe he's on. Mansour Ashkar is a childhood friend. He's a YouTuber, but he's another Israeli. He's not Jewish. There are also many different Christian types. Coptic Christians. I don't know if you know what Maronite Christians are. There's a whole bunch of different types. There's the Eastern Orthodox. There's the Catholics. There's the Church of the Redeemer. The German Christians. What do they call those? The Romanian Orthodox, Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox. So there's a lot of different types, and they're not Jewish. There are Jewish people as well, but we're all together. There's, of course, even Muslims. Yes, there's also Muslims. You see them swimming at the same beach with us. They have the same rights. There's no apartheid. It's good to see you, Pamela. Pamela, see, this is not a normal video. We're live. We're doing a live thing to spend time with you guys, see you guys, and we're all real. This isn't, and I'm on my way. Again, tonight, I won't be able to sleep. I'll be in very dangerous areas. Of course, I won't tell you where those are, but you know that I serve, and every once in a while, I get a little break for the weekend, and then you continue on. That's what I've been doing for the last little while in my 785 consecutive days of deployment in the military. Good to see you, Gina D'Angelo. Wow. There was another question, and good to see you, Anko and Siete de Vries. It's so nice to see you. I wanted to do something a little different today, not just where you see a video. This time, you're going to see me talking live, answering your questions live. So someone said, can you be Israeli and not Jewish? I answered that. There's a lot of people that I know and love who are not Jewish at all. Some are even Muslim. And so another question now from Bieta Matolka. What is the situation in Judea and Samaria? Any serious problem with jihadists there? Let me tell you what, it's not just now in this war, 7-front war of self-defense. This is something that's been going on for a long time. Last night, I was with a soldier, I'm not going to say his name. He got 2 bullets to the leg in Judea and Samaria. He had 5 friends killed in action. 5 friends, 5 soldiers killed in action. He picked up their body parts and had to bring them for burial. Blown up in these roadside bombs in Bethlehem. It used to be Bethlehem was Christian. It used to be Bethlehem was a little bit different than it is today. Today is very dangerous. It's becoming more and more and more the jihadist push. And people try to, what's called projection. The projection is put on us what they're doing. What the jihadist advancement is doing, they try to put it on us. We're an Israeli Defense Force. We're here to defend democracy, defend our way of life. So yeah, it was asked also, what's the morale of soldiers? I mentioned that the morale is, we're very tired, we're very fatigued. We find it very hard when you don't get to be with your family, when you have to be away for extended periods amount of time, like 785 days. And not only that, it's like, the best way I can describe it, I was in the Knesset, our parliament, and I spoke there, and I said, it feels like we're in a wilderness season as a country. A wilderness season. What does that mean? It means that, good to see you, Pat Taylor. Good to see you, Aneta Salowska. Very nice to see you, Pat. These guys and women are heroes. They are people who've stood with Israel for many, many years and stand strong for truth in a time of many lies. And thank you for sharing this video, everybody who can. You can go down there and just click share to any groups you want, so people will be able to join and know that it's live and it's a little different than the normal videos. You can just click share to a group. It's great if you can do that. Now, another thing is that when it feels like a wilderness season. Any questions you have, write them in the thing. I'll address your questions. Just write them in the chat. You just click message and write your question, and I'll answer it. That's what I want to do. I want to have time with you, with David Griffiths and these great people and Gina, who are great people who just stand with the Bible, stand with real history, and stand with freedom and democracy and everything that we believe in as the West. We are all part of the West. We just happen to be the shield of democracy right here in the Middle East. It's not, you guys are far away in Australia and Finland and Iceland and Norway and there's Tamara watching. So now I'm just going to answer you this. It feels like a wilderness season. Here, a question just came in. How do you manage life with everything happening around you? And good to see you, Pat Taylor, again. So how do you manage life with everything going on around you? Well, when it's a 7-front war, and it's really actually an 8-front war, and you can see that on the Real Israel podcast. I don't know if you've been able to watch the Real Israel podcast, if you've been able to share that with friends. It's true that you have these are real people with real lives, and when you have to go to funeral after funeral after funeral of loved ones who were murdered only because they're Jewish. That's the only reason why they were massacred and continue to be shot at, hit by missiles. Our secretary in the charity, her sister was blown up with a missile from Hezbollah. And I don't want you to be afraid to come here. It's more dangerous to go to any major American city. It's more dangerous to drive on snow this time of year in Canada. It's not dangerous. People here have we're all together protecting the country, and it feels like such a family, a big family, but it feels like our family is in a wilderness season. So, okay, so that's how I manage, is by reading the words of God. That's how I manage to survive, is by just remembering the promises over Israel. It's not a gimmick. It's the only way I've been able to really survive this whole time. It's crazy. It's been very, very hard, and I'll be honest. I don't know if how well other people that haven't been through 20 years in the army would be able to survive, because it's constantly, you have to be on. It's like adrenaline. I feel like you're on adrenaline all the time, and constantly watching, looking, what's going to blow up next, what's going to, you're constantly ready. And also there's the, and even as the charity, I'm like saying to our team, hey, get people to donate to the work, because we got to help a lot of people that are running from anti-Semitism. Got to be able to put more videos to the people so they know that anti-Semitism is a real thing. I've heard stories where people are being spit at, protested at in London, England, even in America, even in Canada, and people get a little shaken and they want to make Aliyah. So they want to come to either the Aliyah Return Center, or they want to hear messages from the faithful Galileans, or they want to hear from me on the Chaim Malespin channel. I have my own channel too, the Real Israel podcast, and they want to know about our teaching series and how they can be an ambassador for Israel and stand up against the lies. And there are so many lies that, without even any proof, so many lies. But is it true that, I'm going to read a question right now. Is it true that Jewish people cannot own property in Judea and Samaria? Blessings from Arizona. Well, yeah, the truth is that under the Jordanian law, it's considered disputed territory. There have been people who have taken initiative to settle in Judea and Samaria, but there isn't a municipality for anyone, not Arabs or Jews. There isn't a proper municipality. In your country, you go to a municipality, in Israel too, you go to your local municipality and you say, what lands are for sale? Who are the owners? Who's the registered owners? There isn't a registered owner of what was once Turkish land, then became British. It was Israel a long time ago, but then it was Turkish owned. Turkey. Okay, the Ottoman Turks. Then you have Britain, Great Britain, the Queen. God save the Queen. God save the King. King Charles. Jolly good. That was probably not a really good accent. But the point is they ran things over here. Would you care for a spot of tea, sir? I'm entertaining myself. I would like a spot of tea in this cold weather here. Anyway, but my point is they ran things, then they left, then it became Transjordan, which means Jordan owned it, but then Jordan left. Jordan says we don't want to own it. They gave up ownership of Transjordan. That means Transjordan means that if you went over the Jordan River, so the east side and the west side of the Jordan River, the west bank and the east bank were all part of Jordan at one point. They gave up that. They said we don't want to run that. We didn't say you have to give it up. They wanted to give it up. So now it's considered like disputed territory or no man's land, until what I believe is we should fulfill what the Bible says and annex it. Annex it is a cool word, meaning you need to claim the sovereignty, as after the 6-Day War, the Arab armies that attacked us lost in that war. I see there's someone here saying some mean questions. Abidur Hassan Deru. Wow, there's some questions that you sometimes need to just ignore. I follow the Word of God, and I don't do things that are against the Word of God. Sometimes people project. They do things and they project it onto me. So Josh here asks, so glad you if you're Dutch, you should Dutch and Hebraic people, also Arabs here, can say Chaim. All right? So, jolly good. So now that is the answer to, now there's a real desire in our hearts to push forward a sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. That's right. And it would be good, I'm telling you what, God is good, God is love, and it's good and lovely for the Arabs that live there too. Because I'll tell you what, they do not want to be under the corruption of and violence of Hamas or Islamic Jihad. For that matter, the PLO has shown that they are very, very, very friendly to the cause of jihadism. They haven't renounced jihadism. They haven't denied jihadism. They haven't said we don't want to be allow for any jihadism. In fact, they've encouraged it. So they're not even prepared to manage a property like that. I believe it shouldn't just be no man's land forever. I know some people might not like to hear that, but it shouldn't just be a wild, wild east. Now, I know there's some Americans that say, what's with all the violence going on there? And there's even settlers there. There's settlers there, and they have to protect themselves, and they're getting attacked. And what is going to happen? Oh no. So I say, guys, what was it like in America back in the day before America annexed certain areas in New Mexico, in California? What happened is it was the wild, wild west. It's a very good way to look at it. Wild, wild west is a place where there's gunslingers. There was people doing stagecoach robbing. In this case, it's jihadist groups that will be in Judea and Samaria, and they'll just start shooting at Jewish people on their way home. They will do massacres like the Hebron massacre. Massacres like in Itamar. In Itamar, everyone was killed in the house except for a young girl underneath the bed. This is not okay. In Israel, you say, call the police. But do the police really patrol there? No, because it's not annexed. So that's what I have to say about Judea and Samaria. Now, I know Trump is under a lot of pressure and bribes from certain areas, certain planes and so on, that don't want him to confirm the biblical mandate of the sovereignty that God established of Israel. But God isn't against the Arabs. God is good and God is love, and he's good and lovely to all the Arabs that live there under true democratic process. Could you send that question again, Mariana? I believe it is. You sent a question. Send it one more time. It's not right. I see here that you have a question of David Griffiths. It's not right. It's not right that Israel suffers and the Arabs suffer by Hamas. Jihadism is terrorism. You're absolutely right. Your question is, David, the question is this: a lot of people see you as devils. They see, and I know it's untrue. Demonic theology is like replacement theology, is saying that even in South Africa, yes, they've bought into a lie. You know, in 9/11, did you have in 9/11 in America when the Twin Towers were destroyed by the Al-Qaeda extremist group, was this because the wealthy Osama bin Laden, very, very wealthy, were they mistreated somehow by America, the wealthy bin Laden family? Is that why they had to? They just had to stand up against America because they were so wealthy and so well. Were they mistreated somehow? And that's why they just had to, as part of resistance. Everything's allowed when you do resistance, even killing thousands of Americans and destroying the Twin Towers, right? They would want, the brainwashing would almost want you to say that. No, we weren't in Iraq. And neither was America in Iraq or Afghanistan at that time. They did it because of the teaching, the jihadist teaching of Al-Qaeda. That's why Osama bin Laden did it. Not because they were mistreated, because they have a conquesting ideology to conquest all the world. So if that is a very, 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 very wrong and evil ideology to try to attack peace-loving Westerners in New York who are in their office buildings and kill them all. That is demonic. That is demonic to be like that. And I pray, we should always pray that our brothers and sisters, sons of Abraham, would be able to change their heart. A question came in. I know someone who's not doing well. An IDF soldier right now, and many are going through depression. But what you got to do is you got to declare the promises of God, because we know that Israel's on the side of truth, and truth wins, no matter how much people lie. And they can be millions and millions of people telling lies about Israel. In the end, the truth prevails. The truth will set you free. The sooner people will stand up for what's true, the sooner they'll understand what freedom looks like. Now, Christians are saying, is another question. Christians are saying that Israel isn't the Israel of the Bible because of the Rothschilds' involvement. It goes on, but what I'll say is, well, let me answer this. First of all, do you know the Masons did not allow Jews to enter? It was a Christian group that didn't allow Jews to enter in the beginning. Do you know why Jewish people deal in diamonds? We deal in diamonds because we had to run from anti-Semitism because the enemy of everything that is right and everything that is good, which pushes lies of anti-Semitism into people's hearts and minds. So we had to run, and so diamonds, they're lightweight, you can carry, you can put them in your sock. So Jewish people got into diamonds. But then people were jealous of that. Hey, why do they have all these diamonds? They want money, they love money. All the world wants money. Okay, so it's not to single out the Jewish people and say they are the ones who love money. It's part of a anti-Semitic rhetoric invented by the KGB in Russia. There's a thing called the elders of the protocols of Zion. Those are not our protocols. No Jewish person wrote that. That is actually based on Russian poetry, and they brought it and some bad stories. And instead of making the villain who it was in their stories, they decided to make Israel the villain. And the KGB pushed this book called The Elders, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, and it's from Russian KGB, just so you know. And that continued to be spread. And guess what? It's still being spread today, if you could believe this. Even today, people are believing that there's some Jewish cabal. Now, you look at banking. The Rothschilds were bankers. To answer your question, the Rothschilds were bankers, yes. Do you know that nobody forces you to bank in a bank? If you don't like the bank, you go to another bank. Okay? Why were Jewish people good bankers? Because they were honest. Because the Torah, the Bible, tells us to be honest. And the Rothschilds were eventually, what happened is a king said, I'm going to leave some money with you. I'm going on a trip. So he left a whole suitcase of money, a big treasure chest of money with, I think it was Edmund von Rothschild or Yaakov Rothschild, left a bunch of money with him. This prince came back a year or two later, and the money was all there. And he counted it. Every shekel was there. Every shekel, every bit of gold was there in this treasury. And so after that, the name of, wow, these Jewish people aren't going to be cheating people. Do you think that people would bank with Jews if they were all cheating everybody? Do you think that makes a good banker? Do you know that no one's forced to bank with anyone? People bank with Jews because they're trustworthy, because they won't rob from you. They'll steal. They won't steal your money. They will protect with everything in them the honor of your money. So now I know that because many Jewish people were successful in banking, there became this, it almost helped the conspiracy theories that they're all evil. But no, how about this? So now I'm not saying Rothschilds are perfect, but certainly they did donate some money in order to help Israel start. They donated to help Arabs and Jews to have hospitals. I'm not a Rothschild guy. I don't care. I don't know any Rothschilds, okay? But I'm saying you look at the history that they made wine, the first wineries, Zichron Yaakov, they helped with some business. Okay, but how does any of that, these conspiracy people, how does the fact that some rich people, also non-Jewish rich people, donated? Non-Jewish, what about Alfred, what about Balfour? What about Truman? What about other people who invested in Israel? Okay, does that mean that they're evil now too? You know, you gotta be able to look and say, anyone who invests in Israel is evil? These lies, I cast them out. Stop saying these lies. Those are total lies. If anything, the Bible says they're blessed for investing in Israel. So that's actually what the Bible says. If they will stand with the Jewish people in Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, it actually not just talking about Abraham. You see this throughout the Bible, unlike what Senator Ted Cruz didn't know that one location in the Bible. But you look throughout the Bible, and it's reconfirmed that the people of Israel who continued after Abraham, the same quote continues. Look at Balaam. Look in the book of Numbers. He says, curse this people. And he does the exact quote. He says in, Numbers 25? I can only bless. The Lord desires, God, the God of the whole universe, not just the God of Israel. He's the God of everybody. God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of everybody, chooses to bless Israel. I cannot curse them, said Balaam. That's just one example. There's many throughout the Bible that the same people continued, crossed through the Red Sea, and so on. Okay, so there's another question. That was a little bit of a long answer to the one question there, but here's another question. Christians are saying Israel... Oh, no, I answered Pamela. That was a long answer for you, Pamela. I hope you liked it. I can do a lot more. Lolly Rios said, what's going on in Gaza? Well, I've been in Gaza, right, for 785 days. That's a long time. And Lebanon as well. So Gaza essentially is my second home. And there's definitely more than in Gaza. More than in Lebanon. In Gaza, there's a darkness. And I mean like a brainwash that's so, this is to answer you, Lolly Rios. Where are you from, Lolly? There's a darkness there where there's a brainwash that they've been reading Mein Kampf, which is a very bad man, wrote a very bad book. And he's not the only one who wrote a book. There's others who wrote a book called The Jewish Question. There's others who wrote, like I said, the KGB started this book, which is very equally as bad, called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. This is a fabricated book, and it's proven. I'm not just saying that, it's proven. I don't have time to right now go into all the proofs. Come to our Ambassador Academy, and I will go over facts and show you. But my point is, what's going on in Gaza is people are very brainwashed, but they are at a place where they're done with the murderous. Here's a statement for you. The army, the Israel Defense Force, emphasis on the word defense. Right now, I think we should be more of an offensive force because we've just been reacting. We need to say, no, you will stop before it shoots us, not after we get shot. Just defending is what we've been doing, but we need to start being more offensive. It's too much with just the defense. But here's what it is we do more to protect and help Gazans than Hamas. The IDF does more for Gazans than Hamas. You don't hear that on CNN. Hamas is busy stealing from them. Hamas is busy shooting them in the street. Hamas is busy torturing them. Hamas is, are you a traitor? Did you ever say something pro-Israel? Dead. They're misusing hospitals, misusing mosques, misusing churches, taking the tunnels, digging tunnels, not to protect any Gazan, not to help any Gazan, to help themselves, to help their own evil agenda, which is a murderous agenda, which is a genocidal agenda. If I wasn't stopping them, they would do genocide on all of our people. If I wasn't stopping them, and me and others like me, they would do a genocide. They would, just like they did on the 7th of October, women, children, babies, Holocaust survivors, either they're dragged into tunnels or dragged to their death or tortured or have, genitalia cut off, arms cut off, literal babies. This is real. This isn't propaganda here. Look at the videos. Look at their own videos. I could actually share a screen. I know I can't with this Facebook Live, but if I was doing a Zoom, I could share a screen and show you videos of, it would get the Facebook blocked, but I could show you babies and I could show you people getting their heads chopped off by this ideology, by this, evil thing. So what's going on in Gaza? Some people are getting tired of it. Some people are seeing how they're getting robbed and getting starved, not because we didn't send in 600 trucks a day. I've seen truck after truck after truck, and some of it comes from Qatar, some of it comes from Saudi Arabia, some of it comes from Canada, America, some UN, all kinds of different aid organizations, all different kinds of organizations there have on the box. They'll have their picture. I see it. But they're getting tired of it. The Gazans are getting tired of the destruction that the Hamas brought on their people by their massacre. And not only their massacre, continuing to hold the hostages. So we have to keep looking for them. We have to also stop them from having these towers of that they can shoot from, and that they are shooting from. They have to take down these buildings which are used. We've had to level Gaza pretty much. They use any opportunity they can. So the destruction brought on by Hamas, a lot of Gazans are tired of it. They don't say that a lot because they'll get killed by their own people. So I hope that answers you, Lolly. A little bit long answer. But Faith Wood, good to see you. Faith Wood Thomas. Tammy says, God can even use evil people to accomplish his purpose and will on the earth. You know what? I like to say the mask has come off. Before this, you didn't really know. You had people like American President Obama saying, it's all the same. There's Christianity, there's Judaism, there's Islam. It's all the same. And, you got to just respect everybody. Well, I will never respect a jihadist. I will never respect a jihadist who's committed to murdering my family just because they're Jewish. Can't respect that. I will never respect that. It's not allowed. And they need to surrender that and to change their ways. I made a song called Gaza City Changed Their Ways. And so I do hope that they will change their ways, and that's what needs to happen. So, Sandy, I like your question, Sandy Covert. Sandy Covert says, how can we make a good support? Well, you know that I help them, right? I help new immigrants. I'm able to do that. I also get warm gear to give, and food and stuff, and even beef jerky. People send me sometimes meat and beef jerky. I give it away to them. I'm able to help the lots of kind of people that are in need, people that are injured, get them, we help Arabs. Here's an important thing to know. We help Arabs in need. Do you know that the 12 children that were destroyed by the missiles from Hezbollah, they were all Druze Arabs. I mean, they were Druze people, Arabic-speaking Druze, right? And so their missiles, you know who was massacred? 3,000 people massacred there in Syria. Those were Druze. Those were friends. I serve alongside Druze and Arabic-speaking peoples. We help them. We give them scholarships. Arabic people get scholarships to be able to get a university degree. That's what we do. We don't just help Jewish people. We help Arabic people. So when they stand and they support, you can go to chaimmalespin.com, click on support. You can support. And I guarantee you it goes. This is the thing, is people know that there's sometimes charities in this world, and you don't know if you can trust them. You don't know. It's year-end giving now, right? But Black Friday was the other day, 2 days ago. Giving Tuesday is like tomorrow or something. And so people don't always know, can they trust what's going on? Just because someone has a registered charity and they comply with all the government things, you don't know if it's really going to go to help the people. But the good news is I always do these videos, and I send people the videos so they see that I'm actually helping. So I don't know if that answers you, Sandy, or if you need a longer answer or a different answer. Just go to Chaim Malespin, CHAIM, mail like man, spin like the globe.com, click on support, and it's a tax-exempt 501c3 charity, and you'll see the other charities there too. You'll be able to click on advocacy, and you'll see Aliyah Return Center, Faithful Galileans. There's 2 other charities as well. Let's see what other questions we got. Faith Wood, good to see you. Okay, good. So now I see there's a question here, which I'm getting to right now, which is, let's see, Tammy wrote, we have 400 plus Hamas operatives in Canada who are confirmed financing, and so causing many Jewish Canadians to consider Aliyah. Yes, that is absolutely true. Here's a very telling thing about where the West is. We all want to love, and we all want to help, and we all want to bless, and I do. I help Arabs, we help Jews. It's wonderful. But you got to be able to identify jihadism. That's something that there is no coexistence with jihadism. Doesn't work. You cannot coexist. You either surrender to jihadism and give up who you are and say you cannot be a free Westerner anymore, and you are under the jihadist. That's what they want, you to surrender, and for the flag of Islam. Now it's the Palestinian flag. They don't care about the Palestinians. They don't, or they'd help them in Jordan. They'd help them in Syria. They'd help them. They care about hating on Israel. All these people. So it's really a just topple the West flag. When you see a Palestinian flag flying, they don't care about Palestinians. Know that. You need to know that. It's just destabilize the West, take over, dominate the West, either subjugate. The word is subjugate the West, infiltrate the West, and subjugate them. That is what that flag means. I mean, if they wanted to help the Palestinians, why aren't they helping them in Syria? Why aren't they helping them in Jordan? Why didn't they help them in Gaza before this? Why did they allow Hamas to destroy and to take over and to do what they did, to massacre good people, and they don't care about the future. Where's the committed money to even rebuild Gaza? Why are they not willing to, it's maybe while it's a trending thing, people want to be trendy, so they'll try to be trendy and to try to get views and likes, but their heart they want to take over the West. They want to subjugate the West and to infiltrate and to dominate the West. And that's the, when people want to be a good Christian, they want to be more like Yeshua, who was a Galilean rabbi, Jewish Galilean rabbi. And they want to be more like him and be self-sacrificing and loving and forgiving and kind. But when people want to be more jihadist, they try to be more warlord-like. They want to be more like a warlord. So here's a very telling example of where the West stands today. If you know or you don't know, I'll tell you. The West now, when Iran was bombing us like crazy. Buildings were being destroyed. I walked through the rubble in Bat Yam, our city. I walked through the rubble in Ramat Gan. the financial district got hit very, very bad. I mean, millions and millions and millions in damage. I walked through Beersheba where the missiles hit. I walked through Tel Aviv where the missiles hit. I walked through Holon where the missiles hit. Destruction. It wasn't the whole town, the whole city destroyed, but I'm talking neighborhoods leveled, all the windows gone in entire neighborhoods, right? Very scary. Maybe some of that you didn't see on the news. Maybe some you did. Not so many people were even injured because the bomb shelters really did help a lot of people. Hardly that many people died. You know, what was it? 14? I don't remember exactly how many total died. Not that many. My point was, when that was happening, the evil Sith Lords, I call them, in Iran, the IRGC decided to flee because they knew there was going to be a retaliation from America, from Israel. They do that to us, there's going to be a retaliation. We didn't go attack them. They attacked us. And then we had to take out their nuclear program. So where did they run to? Did they go to Qatar? Did they go to Saudi Arabia? Did they go to Jordan? Did they go to Syria? Did they go to... Where did they go to? They went to Canada. Hundreds and hundreds of IRGC Iranian operatives who were instigating the attacks on Israel to destroy a democracy, to blow up, to level, to nuke a democracy. They went to Canada. Canada received them. So that just, I mean, it just shows you that the West is not very aware to what's going on. They're not very, maybe a little naive, not very united. You know who's united? The jihadists. They're united in purpose. The West is more like McDonald's. They're more like company related. The way the West works is like, there's a strong company. Maybe Charlie Kirk has some strength to bring his corporation high for a while. Or maybe there's another guy called, I don't know what, some other guy who brings his corporation high. But it's not like they're all united. Everyone just is united under their corporation. That's not like that though in jihadism. Everyone not about their, sure they have their own, there's so many. There's the PDFLP, the Democratic Liberation. There's the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. There is the Islamic Jihad. There's Jabhat al-Nusra. There's Boko Haram. There is Hamas, Hezbollah. It's endless. They're different, and they all want to fund their own organization, but in the end, they are united in purpose. Destroy Israel, destroy the West, subjugate the West. So that is something to know, is that Syria is really being used as a place that's been always like this because it connects between Iran and Lebanon. So they want to bring all their missiles through Syria. They really, really want to do that to our borders to just shoot us easier instead of so far away and they might miss. That's what they want to do. So Aliyah is going to happen. It's prophesied. It's prophesied. It might be 2026. 2026 might be the year of the greatest Aliyah, and I got to be ready for this. I got to be able to welcome them. That means jobs, food, training. I do job training. We have factories that we put them in. Once they train up how to do soldering, we give them housing, free housing. Don't forget, we help Arabs too. It's important. Local Arabs that are struggling because of the war. And there's millions. There's technically about 26 million Jewish people if you count through the father or mother. It's not just through the father or mother. And so they all are going to make Aliyah because, Hitler would have killed them. That's the Nuremberg laws said if they have a father or mother, they would be killed by Nazi Germany. And so those people might think, and this, I'm not trying to be fearmonger. I'm not a fearmonger. I'm just looking at the facts. People might think I'm a Hollywood Jewish person. I'm a very secular Hollywood Jewish person. I'm not part of, I don't even like Israel. Guess what? They're going to be persecuted as well. Now it's kind of more the time of, you remember when Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Hitler, he spent 4 years just saying, Jews are just like mice. You could just kill them. They're like rodents. They're not even human. You could just take all their stuff. You could just kill them. Just saying these things again and again and again and again and again and again. And he said, if you say a lie long enough, people will believe it eventually. They're not even human. They're not Germans. They're Jews. They're not Germans. They might say they're not Americans. They're Jews. They might say that, So, yeah, it's really true that we might have to welcome millions and millions. This whole country only has 7 million Jews and some Arabs that live here too. So a total of 10 million people. And then you're going to have to welcome 26 million or so to make Aliyah. Okay, next question. I hope that answers your question. I'm going to go now to, let's see, wide range of activities in Canada. Yeah, Canada and America. You got to be careful. Okay, Tammy writes, Hezbollah's financial operations are connected to both Canada's fentanyl crisis as well as the worsening car theft industry. Yeah, truth be told is, how do the Hezbollah get their money? They are drug dealers. They are the same as the cartel. But you don't have this response, do you? When Al-Qaeda bombed the Twin Towers, you didn't have everybody saying, go, yes, and walk down the main street of New York and say, go, Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda. 1, 2, 3, Al-Qaeda is me. 2, 3. You don't have all these chants, but you do have that about Hezbollah and Hamas. It's very interesting. Very interesting. You don't have that about the cartel when Trump says enough of these drug dealer cartels. We don't want them running through America and selling, what is that called? Opioids and, what is that drug called that makes holes in your skin? And we don't want this. But you don't have people saying cartels, Mexican cartels. We want cartel. Down with the, you sort of actually do with ICE protests. You have some people saying that. There's a real destabilization happening around the West because they want to bring in a new form of government, which is not jihadists. The jihadists think, yes, they're helping. They just want, there's elements that it seems want a destabilization so they can bring in a more communist control like China has. So full communist control, every citizen is marked, maybe chipped. That's like the extent of where it looks like it would be going, but they're using the jihadists as a destabilization factor. So anyway, how's the condition? There's Mani Elmi. How's the condition of getting Israeli citizenship? Yeah, anyone who has a mother or father that's Jewish, even one grandparent that's Jewish, you can show that. We actually provide people counsel free of charge. Don't write me. Don't write me on Facebook. You got to write the email. Just go to info@aliyahreturncenter.com. Info@aliyah, ALIYAH, returncenter.com. So that's info@ALIYAH, Aliyah, returncenter.com. Write an email and we'll answer all your questions about free of charge. Okay, Juliet says, Christianity is inherently from Israel. Yes. Do you know who the first ever recorded means written in history, in the history books. Who's the first person written anywhere to be called rabbi? Can anyone tell me in the comments? Who's the first person ever in the history? Let's see who can get it. Was it Hillel? Was it Shammai? Was it Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon? Was it Rabbi, who was it? Was it Rabbi was it Bar Kochva? Was it Maimonides? Was it, Rabbi Meir Bal Hanes? Who was the first ever person, Hillel, Shammai, who was the first person to be called a rabbi in documented history? Documented. Does anyone know? Write it in the comments. Anybody? First person ever to be called a rabbi. Nobody knows? It was a Galilean rabbi. His name is Yeshua. Yeshua is in English translated Jesus. Was the first person to be called the first person recorded in recorded history to be called a rabbi. That's interesting because some people are saying that he was a Palestinian. The term rabbi or Rabboni, Rebbe, Rabboni, rabbi, the first recorded written history, because the Mishnah was written after the writings of the Brit Chadashah. So anyway, but the point is there's a lot of work to be done to remove the history of who wrote the whole Bible. That's right, all the testaments was Jewish people. So people are forgetting about that, and they're forgetting about that, and they purposefully don't want to talk about that, and they want to divorce the tree from its roots, the olive tree from its olive tree roots. And they want to make it something else. But in the end, again, truth will set you free. I want to give another quote from this same Galilean rabbi. I'll give you a quote that he said when they said, what is the greatest commandment? What is the greatest commandment? His quote was, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And they said, well, and he went on to say, and the next greatest commandment is like it. Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. In English, that is, Shema Yisrael, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. and he says, and you shall love your name. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength, he said. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself, he says. So this is a quote, and he was quoting Moses, obviously. But that's something that he said and something that he taught. So people got to be careful not to try to remove the roots from the roots. Now, okay, so another question that people asked is, what is it like to be serving alongside with Druze, with Arabs, with Bedouins? The best trackers in the army are Bedouins. What is it like to be serving alongside, more questions, please. Yeah. What is it like to be serving alongside with, Circassians? What's it like to be serving alongside religious? And so that's the question. And before we end, I want to talk about the hot topic of religious serving in the army, because I'm not seeing any questions here. More questions. Serving in the army is something that religious people don't always want to do, because they go and they study in the Mishnah. They study in the Mishnah, they study the Toldot, they study the Masechet Avot, they study the Gemara, and they study the Mishnah, the Gemara, and of course they study the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud, and they study the Jerusalem Talmud, which was written in the Galilee, by the way, as well as the Aleppo Codex, written in the Galilee. So here's what it is they don't want to, their rabbis don't really want them to serve in the army, because they're taking away from their study time. And they're training to be a rabbi, or to train to be a good scholar of the Torah. So it's a very hot topic that Israel's pushing for them to study in they're really pushing for them to be able to study in the thing. So it's become a very hot topic, but I'm encouraging you that there are some really, really good, they call them national service, and they go and they serve in national service. And there's others that say they're national traditional Jews, and they choose to serve in the army alongside me. So I'll have people with long curls here with a big old keep on their head, and they'll serve alongside me. So we have all types, and we serve together. What we need you to do, guys, is to stand with truth. I want you to share. We got to wrap up. It's getting long here. I wanted to take this time with you guys to be able to for you to hear from me, to be able to answer your questions live. Thank you so much for being able to ask hard questions, incredible questions. I want to do more of this. I've done a webinar before that's really, really high end, not just me talking like this. I'll do more webinars that people actually pay to join. Yeah, people actually pay to join certain webinars. I've done that before. This is just to thank you guys, and to say, I really do thank you for sharing this. If you'll do the mitzvah gdolah of sharing this broadcast, if you'll do the mitzvah gdolah of also telling your friends to join us. And it is year-end giving, so I just want to say this is the time where we raise our budget to be able to help more people. It's all just your generosity that lets us be able to help Arabs and Jews here in the Galilee. And as I have a very long night, I better go. So, yeah, thank you for joining. And definitely tell your friends about the Real Israel podcast. Oh, one last thought is, I don't know if you know, but there's nations where news is blocked. News is blocked, okay? So the only place that you're able to get news is YouTube and Facebook. Some places only YouTube. So that's why I want you to be able to make sure this gets to people that need to know the truth from someone boots on the ground for almost 800 days. Thank you so much, Sandy, Lindsay, everybody. Have a wonderful night. And as the wave of Aliyah of Jewish people happens, tell a Jewish person that you care for them, you love them, you want to stand with them this Hanukkah. Just continue being part of the light that shines here in Israel. Good night to you all. I just want to take a minute to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of our hearts. This is the time of year when charities raise almost all their budget for the next year. And without your generosity, all of the impact on all of the lives here in Israel would be impossible. The IRS needs their tax payment, but we are a 501c3 registered charity in the United States, and we do provide that tax-exempt receipt. Friends, from Israel, Toda Rabah. Thank you so very much.